going to come through.
There we go.
Alhamdulillah wa
Alhamdulillah.
bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Nashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And
Alaikum
you
assalam
and
wa rahmatullah.
Alhamdulillah, and you're welcome for all this handsomeness and all this beauty that's on the screen.
So grateful.
We're not even gonna charge anybody for
So grateful.
It's good.
The jeans was jeaning.
Gene is gening, right? That's right. Absolutely.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. And there's more.
There's more.
Alhamdulillah. So we look
I don't know who's more excited. I'm excited.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm
So
excited.
what's up,
I'm looking
firstborn?
forward
What's
to it.
going on? What's
You
going
know,
on?
doing this life thing, embracing change, season change, learning new things. I don't remember a time when I've been so excited about learning something new that I stay up hours, like learning. And
Mhm.
it's fun, especially when it's in alignment with who you are and what you do. And our special guest said that she didn't see the link in her email.
I
I'll
sent.
forward it to her from mine.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's been a good time, a good season. I'm learning how to manage my time properly in a
Mhm.
way that allows me to reset. This self-care thing is really about making time to be still and explore and be curious about life and all of that. So it's been fun. I've been
Mhm.
having a really good time, and I'm
Yeah,
well.
that's good. That's good. So you on Mondays you have your coaching. Well, you got. I mean, what is it? You tell me. What?
Yes. So what I do is with my group coaching group of women who make a commitment for a year. That's her calling. Let me get the
Go ahead. Go
because
ahead. Go ahead. Mhm.
yeah. Let me get
I'm shout out Khalika. Khalika, Alhamdulillah. Always good to see you in the space. And Jerome Fahim Ahmed. I'm so welcome. Alhamdulillah, we're gonna get the live piece going on. Alhamdulillah. Well, little bit of fact and humor and love. Okay. You see, I'm going topless today, and I'm all blued up with my tie. Alhamdulillah, it's good. And in the hood, there's a joke that goes around when you see a guy in a suit. They say, who died, right? So, and all that I'm saying right now is out of the purest love. So yes, I actually went to the funeral. Went to the funeral. Hold on, let me check something real quick. Okay.
Assalam alaikum. Listen, let me tell you something about how we go with the flow and we make things happen. So, we're trying a new thing by having our special guest join us. And so we're working that out. And she told me that she's in the studio. So see if
Okay.
you see her pop up.
Oh, okay. I gotta let her. I gotta let her in.
Gotta let her in. Okay.
Hey, there she is. And,
Oh,
and, and,
hey,
and look,
neighbors.
and let me say again, you're welcome to everybody. To everybody, you're welcome. So let me finish this little shout out I was working on. There's a
Okay.
funny story y'all can ask your mama about. Where is it? How come you wasn't on the camera when I came back in? Ask your mother when you get a chance to.
Okay.
But that was so. I was talking about me going topless today and with the tie and the whole piece. Yes, it does have a lot to do with our special guest. Much to do, I should put it like that. But yeah, my other mother passed away last week. Her name was Leanna Hamilton. I haven't done a whole lot about telling the whole story. About my background in Sobrani Park, but the top of the mountain of friendships and alternate family for me was the Hamiltons. It's like those are my folks, right? Those are the folks that you go and I know this ain't the right way to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Well, so when you're growing up, sometimes you have a place where what happens at this address stays at
Stays
this.
at this address. Yeah.
Okay, well that was my address, and it was good. It was good all the way up and down. Alhamdulillah. So she passed away.
Mm,
So we went to her funeral
mhm,
today, and it was a very happy gathering. She was suffering dementia,
mm.
and her husband of 73 years had passed away
73 years.
like
Wow.
three or four years ago.
Yeah.
It's just really just a profound part of my life. In fact, to talk about me and dancing, it
Mm,
was Moses Hamilton, who's Moses Hamilton Jr.
mhm.
When I was in the eighth grade, believe it or not, from the dancing piece, I was like a wallflower, right? And so it was Moses that told me, man, get off that wall, man. You need to get up, because we used to have what you call sock hops, these
Mhm.
noontime dances, and like, well, and the rest is history, because it's like I never stopped. That I'm joking. I jokingly say, because since it's all church, this funeral, she was a Catholic actually, and
Mm,
so I said, well, let me quote a Bible piece when I was doing my testimony. I said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, right?
mm.
And I said, so it's like this. I said, when James Brown comes on, it's like if you could see how I'm dancing in my head, you would just be amazed, right?
Yes.
But that's the spirit, right?
Yes.
But the flesh is weak. Can't rock like that.
The way you used to.
Yeah. But surprisingly, another thing, so when I go out here to see this young lady and her beautiful family out in Fairfield, California, sometime that ride kind of so I'll either put on the Temptations live, because I know the Temptation live album is an hour. That's it,
Hmm.
right?
Get you jumping.
And
Hmm.
depending on what time of day I put on that JB. When I put that JB on, man, there is nothing about tired that shows up. I can go for miles and miles. But enough about me. I'm gonna turn it over to you, Haja, and you. I'm just here for the conversation.
Alhamdulillah.
You do it.
Well, I'm honored and really excited to introduce Dr. Peters, the education extraordinaire,
Yes.
the owner of Blooms, and the what would you call? Are you the director of the early? What's the name of? Listen, I got all you. You know, your son always sets me straight. No, that's not that one. It's this
Uh-huh.
because we got the sprouts of the many areas of early childhood education in place. Tell us
Well,
the
in the quotes of my father, not to boast, I can just run it for you.
run
Run it. Run it.
it.
um, Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum
I only see
assalam.
you three, so I have no idea what the audience is in
Alhamdulillah.
person. But
We have a boutique audience that
that's
is
all we need.
a dedicated audience, intimate
Yes.
conversations.
Yes, I love that.
Alhamdulillah.
So, as my family, my father, and my sister have shared, my name is Dr. Peters. And I love, my sister, she reached out, she said, well, what do you want me to say? Like, what's your tag name? I was like, okay, we're just going to go with educational extraordinaire for now.
Mhm.
And it didn't come like an overnight thing. I think it's good to relate it to that, what they say, 10,000 hours or what,
Mhm.
10,000 hours and 10 years and all these things.
Mhm.
So having the confidence now in my 40s, as I say, to just say, yeah, no, I am an extraordinaire. We're going. I'm gonna claim that out, and I'm gonna run it back very briefly and run it forward. So my bachelor's degree is in economics. My master's degree is in early childhood education from San Francisco State. I am obviously a Bay Area born, and my doctorate degree is in early childhood education with emphasis in educational leadership, also from San Francisco State. That in and of itself is a 15-year run of just, being in the field of education. Currently, my husband and I own a childcare facility called Blooms in Oakland. It's a boutique facility, as I like to say. And it is actually the brainchild of us looking at the work that I was doing in these other larger facilities as the executive directors, two facilities, one of which I am in right now, who provided a perfect backdrop. I was like, I'm not going to do this in my office. Let's just do it in one of my Montessori classrooms. So that's what you see in the background here, just one of my Montessori classrooms. So the model school in Berkeley, California, I'm the executive director there. And I'm also the executive director of the Child Education Center in Berkeley also. Additionally, because why not share it all? I am a professor at San Francisco. I'm a professor at San Francisco City College. I've been there for nearly 13 or 14 years, and also a professor at Merritt College in Oakland, California, all teaching in early childhood education. And it is my, my passion. It is the thing that I enjoy doing. It is one of those things that I kind of fell into in a way. You say, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? First thought as African American, I just want to make some money. Like that's it. I want to make some money. I want to own a business. That was when I went to undergrad. My original degree was economics with business emphasis, and come to find out that there was this one class that I needed to get that business tag on the side. But it meant I was going to have to stay another semester. I said, it's okay. I'll take the econ for 500, please. Got the economics degree, got up out of it. But in that transition, I was introduced to early childhood. And I think I've shared this story with you, Dad, before. Mm-hmm. The year that I graduated from my master's program. So wait, everybody is a part of this story. So my first childcare was actually in Camila's house in the front. My first family childcare was in front of me, and it was Bloomers. That was the name of it. It was Bloomers, and I had one kid, whoever officially committed, and he was like committed for like a week. And it was Sister Georgetta's grandson, who is now, I don't even know how old he is. Maybe he's 20 plus at this point, or more. And, only kid that I ever had, did all of the process and closed within the same month that I opened probably. And then that's when I went, I was one of the things that supported me getting my master's degree. So after I got my master's degree at San Francisco State, one of the things that I did, Dad, was I literally emailed every child development department in NorCal, like literally every single one. And I said, hey, I want to be a professor. What can I do? Can I just come be your intern? When I tell you I got no's from everyone except one woman, which is Dr. Intisar Sharif, who was connected to and she said she emailed me back, and she left her number, and then I called her back, and she said, "Is your dad Imam Fahim?"
Allahu Akbar. Ooh, I'm telling you, I got chills.
I said, "Yeah." That's my dad. And she said, "Okay, come see me." And pretty much the rest is history from that point, because working with her, she was a stone cold killer. But she was stone cold within her own rights. But working with her, it becomes a networking. She connected me to she connected me to working in early childhood. She connected me to the dean at Merritt College, which now I work at now, from that one connection. I mean, and I can create so many webs from certain poor interactions, but all that is to say that part of my story is, taking a risk, putting myself out there, and leaning on the family name.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
That's how it's done.
Yeah, and I think that also what I'm always so impressed with is in regards to like you and early childhood, like you've always from a little whittle just have always been the babysitter club, the had somebody's baby on your hip wherever we went, whether it's at an Eid or what, like from a very, very young age. And it's just continued to carry on. Even when you were at Claire Muhammad School, how you spent time in teacher chorus class, or you always spent time with the little ones in the kindergarten, and you've always surrounded yourself with the little ones. And so like seeing that part of you being nurtured and then leaning into and trusting this process of starting the business. So when we say like the business of knowledge, I always remember like I really want you to speak on the juggling process of mommyhood. And I know you were doing your thesis when Issy was born, and this is your firstborn, right? And so then when you were in your doctorate, were you pregnant with Jacob? No, you were
Okay.
pregnant with Kayla.
Kayla, she was
Kayla.
hi.
Hi. So, like in all of it, there has been this process in the system of you balancing out the goal and the home life. Why education though? Like, because there's so many different ways
Yeah,
to be an entrepreneur and do business. I mean, like, I'm not in the business of little kiddos. There's takes a very specific energy
yeah.
to do the early childhood education, right? So why this area of development? Because I think about your thesis where you talk about brain development. And, there's so many stories I can go into, but let's start with that question first, and then I got another. So go.
Part of it is that's where I came from, right? Like you said, born and raised in the masjid at Claire Muhammad School. I can tell you story. The nursery is where we spent a lot of time. I remember being at Claire Muhammad 89 earthquake. Like, it's just a part of. And then my family was always in leadership positions within those educational spaces. And people who were not my blood family were my family. It's like, Sister Salia, she was the auntie that, hey, don't mess up, So then you have Sister Carla Ali, and then you have Nisa Bismillah, and you have Zainab, and it goes on, and Brenda Edine. There's so many people who were so much a part of my early education experience that has they were impactful. Like I have really strong, even you, right? EDC with Tahir and playing football with Sadiq on the yard, and all of these friends that I had still to this day, though I may not keep in touch with a lot of people from my childhood community, they are a part of like my memory. So all this is to say that I have really positive memories about school, right? When I was young, I have a lot of positive memories about school. And it came easy. It felt easy in ways. Initially, it was a scapegoat. Like, oh well, I need to do something. I'm good at education. I can be a teacher. So some part of it was just like I went into it, it was like, this is easy. But how I got to the level that I'm at now is a slight twist, because I honestly don't feel like I'm in the business of educating children as much as I am in the business of educating educators. And that children are the benefactors of that effort. And that was a climb. I didn't start there. Let's see, when I first started, how this really like blossomed, like I said, senior year of my bachelor's degree, I had one class to take. I went to take it at a community college. I used to have to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning, drive to this college that was nearby, took this early childhood class because, once again, kids are easy. I had a sucky professor. I mean, she was average. She was just average. And I was in a classroom of this diverse population of women, men of all ages, of all background. And I, of course, am attending this class coming from a private liberal arts hunky-dory, college. And now I'm in this community college classroom with, what can be perceived as common folks. And the experience actually changed my perception of the needs of adults in education, because I was sitting in this classroom and realizing how much life, meaning life, like these are people who have multiple jobs, multiple children, maybe some of them have learning disabilities. All of these people are in one room in this community college class. And then I was sitting in here with this crappy professor, and I'm just like annoyed, right? Generally speaking, I'm annoyed because I see all these beautiful characters and the level of support that they were receiving. For me, it was easy. I'm coming from a background that's kind of, I was already built for that classroom. I just was trying to get credit so I can get out. So that kind of created that spiral. So I.e. ended up in the community college classroom as a professor myself, but I had to climb the ranks. I was every kind of teacher there could be. I've been an infant toddler teacher. I've been a preschool teacher. I've worked in middle schools. I've worked in high schools. I mean, I've done all of it. And so I have worked with the youth, but I realized that even in working with the young children all the way through high school, or at this point through college, their educators are the ones that influences them. So I said, well, I need to be at the top. I need to be educating the educators, because they're the ones that's going to give me the most ripple effect impact, right? But I had to get those experiences. The reason why one of the reasons I feel I have really good rapport with the professional development community or the adult education community is because I've been in the trenches too. I have stories to match. It's like one person can talk theory. Well, I can talk theory, but I can also back it up with real experiences that I've had with children and families. Does that make sense? So yeah. I would say that why did I pick children? I don't know. I think children, Allah brought this to me. But now I can say, why did you choose educators? I chose educators because I'm looking for the ripple effect. I'm looking to impact the person. Why would I stay in one classroom with 30 kids? I'd rather be in a classroom with 50 adults who are going to have 30 kids. You see what I mean? And then an impact in that way. And so I've tried to find, over the years, I've really tailored my growth pattern for myself around this idea of how do I make adults do this work well? What do I need to do to open up this mind of an adult to get them interested in figuring out how they can be their best selves for these young children?
I love that. You had another. I was about to go in some more, but
no, go ahead. So if you notice, I'm looking for one photo, and I bet Dr. Peters knows the photo I'm looking for.
I know which photo
I'm gonna find it before we get out here. And I'm going to show it before wallahi. It's one of those sayings that if it's the last thing, okay? So y'all go and have your conversation.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep on archiving up in here.
Okay, keep on archiving. Sounds good.
I'm going to drop something on you in a minute, right?
Okay, good stuff.
I don't know. You might need to get your Kleenex. I'm not sure.
So
we'll see how that go.
We'll take it.
Y'all, y'all go ahead.
Awesome. So in this space of like climbing the ranks and the experience of working with the adults, like not to mention that you probably enter into the classroom and they're wondering if you're also a student.
Let me tell you my running joke. I still do it to this day. First day of class. Often I'm a little tardy first day. And I walk up to say, where is the professor at? I'll just kind of sit around or something, and they're kind of, or somebody come in, oh, well, the professor just sent a message saying that, she's be here in 5 minutes, something like that. And I'll be like, oh, okay. And then they find it kind of funny because I'll walk to the front, and start the class. And then everybody kind of has this like kind of a giddy thing. And, I also, but it goes back to, like I said, humor is a huge part of quality, really building rapport, right?
Yeah.
That part of it. And then after I give them the whole spell, I always say at the end, and don't try to figure out how old I am. Usually people are like putting this math.
Trying to do the math.
You do the math. How she got this many kids. She's been married this long. They have all these things, and in the end, they ultimately, figure it out, or something happens to that degree. But I I don't know if that I segued off your question. Go back.
Yeah, no, it wasn't really a question. It was just a statement of like really recognizing that, that's kind of a part of the family trait in one way. But the other part of it too is I want to lean into like the not just the business aspect, but when you think about like the work that I do right now,
Mm-hmm.
I work through, providing the wellness aspects for the parents. So the model of the school is when the parents are well, it further supports the developmental aspects of the kiddos that are in the school. And so when you think about like you're creating so many different pockets of communities with
Mm-hmm.
these parents and or new parents or parents of multiples, what is the importance of how you establish community from all of your history, what you learned, and how has your Claire Muhammad School experience infused in how you run the environment or the system of the schools that you're running?
Okay, so I really strive. Integrity is probably like my number one, let's say, business model, right? Like say, what is your business model when it comes to children and families? Integrity in the sense of making sure that families feel okay. The hardest thing that a person, even myself, my husband probably remembers this story when I took Ismail, which is our older son, to his child care in West Oakland. He had been bouncing around a little bit, and we had started him at this new child care, and when he had to start there, he was in the potty training classroom, and of course that was at the I would say that was at the peak of the beginning of, I just got my master's degree, so of course I'm feeling very, like I'm gonna walk in here and I'm gonna know what's best for my son. And when we went into the room after I was going to interview with the teacher, I cried. I cried. I'm an early childhood professional. I'm walking through this situation with my son, and I knew that this was a school that he was going to have to go to, or he was, the child care he was going to go to. And I sat in the office with the teacher and I cried. And so I bring that story into play to say why integrity says the hardest thing that a parent has to do, or one of the hardest thing that a parent makes it is drop them off with strangers. You are dropping your child off ultimately with strangers. And I have to trust and believe that whatever you're doing behind closed doors, whether it's in your tonation with my child, in the things that you're saying to my child, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I'm not there. So, as a parent, I'm not there. Mm-hmm. So integrity becomes one of my number ones, because I need my families to trust me with their child, right? Mm-hmm. I need my parents to trust my teachers with their child. So as a starting point, I would say that is a huge part. And in integrity in the quality of care, in the training that my teachers receive. I mean, training adults is not an easy task. I mean, people have habits that are so deeply infused that they don't even know they're bringing it into the work environment or the classroom environment. Yeah. So also helping the adults really get a hold of, okay, what are you here for? Right? So your own personal, whatever that is that's coming out of you, you need to keep that all the way over there, because I'm trying to maintain the integrity of my facility and the care that the kiddos are receiving here. So integrity, I would say, is one. Two, now I have another answer to this, the business side, in terms of Bloom's. When we were working on Bloom's, if I'm just being honest about the business, there is a population of individuals who value high quality care, right? And so Bloom's intention was to target a particular market, right? I'm talking about the business of child. Mm-hmm. And so when we had it as a brainchild per se, part of the conversation was what can we do at Bloom's that's different than what is happening at my other facilities? Mm-hmm. And part of it is that high level exclusivity around, I am going to give your child the highest level of attention available in a childcare setting. And when I interview I interview all my parents that go to our program, Bloom's. When I interview them, I let them know by the end of the conversation that my goal, one of the things that as a business person that I enjoy about what I do as my mission, as we would say, is to make sure that after you drop your child off, you don't think about your child until you pick them back up. That you have, they literally do not cross your mind in the sense of, safety concerns, etc., until you pick them back up. And I also emphasize to them that it's a beautiful thing to have childcare for you to be able to go off and do what you want to do to be your best self for the broader community, right? Childcare allows parents the opportunity to still give back to the world how they want to give back to the world without having to worry about their kiddo. And for me, one of the things that I either struggled with or enjoyed is that I've always had good childcare, or I always had the ability to keep my children with me during their first 5 to 6 years. So it was, so I always had one or the other. I always had really good childcare, or I always had the flexibility to keep my child with me. And I want, as a business model for Blooms in particular, what we strive to do is to give that level of security to our clientele base. In a very exclusive way. So I can answer multiple questions there, but
Yeah. No. It's all good. What when you think about like what's next, it's like you're at a certain level with what it is that you're offering. What's next with Blooms, with the vision for, the business of knowledge? What's next?
I
That
take
you can share.
right.
Look, I see you calculating.
You know what? I don't have a fear of sharing, because fear of sharing would believe that I believe in scarcity, and I don't believe in scarcity. I don't believe that there's anything out there that someone can get before I can get if it's mine. It's,
Right.
there's nothing out there, so I can share anything, whatever that thing is. And if it was for that person to take and run with it, it was always for that person to take and run with it. It was nothing that I could do to stop that. But all this is to say, I smile because I'm on an internal mission
Yeah.
to try to figure out how to prepare myself for this next level. I do feel currently I feel very stable. I feel like I have created lifestyle within my work. I have, extreme levels of flexibility. I have a lot of good relationships, people who support me in this work. I don't have anyone that I report to in any significant way. And I used to have shame in that, in the sense of like, why am I deserving of this level of flexibility, or
Yeah.
this level of this or that, or fear that, oh, something will happen and you're gonna lose this thing, so you better keep doing it this way or whatever. So I'm working on I'm in a process right now, as I am entering this chapter of my life, of cleansing myself of those negative thoughts that keep me where I am. And so this past, I would say, 6 months to a year, part of what I've been focusing on is shutting down, leveraging all of this flexibility that I have, building up my team to say, hey, no, I'm going to let you take care of that, because I need space. What I really need right now is space. And I need space to work on my internal self to be ready for this next thing. As you said, what is next? My desire, or what I think about, I would say what I think about most is obviously expansion of my current brand with my husband Blooms. Really figuring out how to the win in any business is duplication. How do I make this duplicatable where I don't have to be there? And working with working with staff is a very challenging part of childcare in general. So it does create. I have to figure out the exact model that we're going to use
Yeah.
to duplicate the staffing. Like that is a thing. So, because when we train our staff, we want to make sure that we're training them on a duplicatable system so that our brand is very consistent across the board. So one level, next level is, okay, let's expand our Bloom's model and create multiple facilities to be able to do that. But in the end, individually, I want them to be self-sustained. Like, I'm not trying to be the one, or me or my husband or anybody, not trying to running around door knocking, checking on this, checking on. Of course, I will be a part of that. But in the end, time is a very valuable commodity. And so I'm not trying to be the one who has to kind of manage these individual things. So that goes back to building capacity in a staff. So that's one goal, right? The other goal is to expand my public speaking brand, looking into motivational speaking, is with emphasis in early childhood, supporting early childhood professionals. The pandemic has done a number on our industry. In general, education is not one of those. It's not like, oh, I want to be a lawyer or I want to be a doctor. It doesn't. People who come to education often have some feeling of like, this is the easiest thing I can do, or it comes from a family background or something like that. So I'm interested in getting into more motivational speaking, educational motivational speaking, more keynote speaking, sharing, and in that, using the platform to share my story, right, and help people connect to the work through my experiences as an early childhood professional, as a mother, as a student, as a professor, right? Just really kind of giving them those nuggets. And even in my last couple of keynotes that I've done, I've been focusing in more on kind of looking at the self, like why, having my participants look at their why, like, why are you working with children? And having them be okay with their struggles in them working with children, and kind of creating spaces where they can like hone in on those types of things versus like, this is how you take care of a 2-year-old. Like, that's not really what I'm talking about. I can do those things, and I do those things. But when I say I'm interested in doing more public speaking, it's not around the how-tos of childcare. It's the who are you in childcare, and why are you here, and how do we keep you here? How do we keep you here in a way that creates that integrity that I speak of for young children? And sometimes people are in it for the wrong reasons. And sometimes people are in it and they don't know how to survive it. And sometimes people are in it and they just need somebody to say, man, you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Let me jump into this. Unfortunately, spoiler alert, I could not find that particular picture. But let me see, so in Jeopardy mode, what picture was I looking for, Hanifa?
You're looking for the picture where I'm writing at the desk.
Killer.
I am probably in the maybe second or third grade.
Third, yes, I think it's third and fourth grade.
Third grade. The way the story goes.
This is no boast. Go ahead.
So, Claire Muhammad School had an annual fundraiser, the Evening of Excellence. And I was teasing with my husband the other day about, because we used to have it at the Oakland Marriott, and the Oakland Marriott has these escalators. They have, well, I don't know, I haven't been there in years, but they have these 2 escalators that go up to the second floor or whatever. And it was just a huge childhood memory to be at the Evening of Excellence, to run around the hotel in all your fancy clothes. And, the adults was in the banquet, but the young people always found a way to be doing whatever we would do, right? And so all this is to say that every year the Evening of Excellence had a brochure, and there was a fundraiser connected to it where, you ran around the masjid, you called all your aunties and uncles, and you got people to put in their sponsorship, like a business card or a page, so that you would get sponsored by pages or things like that. So every year there was this book that would be placed on the tables. And so this particular year, the photographer wanted images of, young people at Claire Muhammad. So he came to all the classes and he took all these pictures and was trying to identify what would be the best cover for this year's Evening of Excellence. I was chosen the picture of myself was kind of like, I had my Claire Muhammad School white scarf, tied up all
It
nice,
was
and
official.
my uniform was popping, sitting at the desk and very astutely, and I'm pretty sure, I know it was Sister Salia's classroom. I'm confident of that. And she used to make us do cursive handwriting. Now, cursive, my kids don't even know what cursive is now, but when we was in school, cursive was a
handwriting was every day.
handwriting. So I was down there darn near with my tongue in my teeth, trying to make sure that I got that T or dotted that I. And the photographer picked that picture, and they had no clue that I was the imam's daughter or the director's daughter. So, hey, someone, I'm sure there were many that said, Imam Fahim then picked his daughter. Hey, but no, but that's the story, and I have a copy of that picture somewhere.
Yeah, I got to get that because
You got to put it now. You got to make it an Instagram post.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna leave that to your sister.
We gonna find
that's above my pay grade. So send it to her and she'll do that. But now, since we're there, I want to go ahead and share this because it does. I know it does nothing but bring in maybe about 10 more hours of conversation. But people love stories, right? Yeah. People love stories. So I know they say one picture is worth 1,000 or 10,000 words, right? Well, whatever these bring up, let's just ride with it in the context of that we're talking about. Okay.
Oh, we're gonna play like a game, like you pulling a picture of
it. Yeah, it's a game. Can you see that?
I can't see anything. I only see you.
You didn't share your screen, Baba.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
No, go ahead. Share.
Right, so share screen. What are we doing here? Share. What is going on? Okay, it's saying stop screen share. So I thought I was sharing. Okay, share screen. Says share screen. Going here. Are you seeing that?
I see nothing.
No, it's just us. The screen didn't change.
Okay, it must be. Hold on. That's good. So that means I haven't spoiled what I'm doing yet.
No, we haven't spoiled it.
Where's Hanifa? She's still there?
Yep. Hanifa's here.
Okay. So close this window. And okay, so now that's gone. So
screen still hasn't moved though.
What's going on?
The screen still hasn't moved though.
Meaning that we're just seeing each other right now.
Just the three of us on the screen. Okay.
So I'm not doing anything different than I have done in the past.
Yeah.
So okay. So I need to open what I want to share, right?
Yep.
Okay. So it's open, and now I want to go to screen share screen. Now I want to go to that window, and I want to go to that, and I want to go to that. What do we have?
Nothing. It's just us.
Okay, there must be. Okay, y'all go ahead.
Okay.
When it shows up in the middle of your conversation, then
yes, we will divert back to that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is wealth creation preservation, but when we speak of wealth creation, we're not just speaking about the currency of money, but also like our spiritual wealth and wellness. And entering into this industry, not only as a Bilalian woman, but as a Muslim woman as well. How do you navigate that? How your level of confidence and focus on this work, was there ever this internal conversation around how you should move in the space of education?
Um. Uh. Okay. Let me say two things. As a Muslim woman, everything I do, right? I'm always leading with that. You know, my behavior is always guided by, you know, what would Allah say?
Right.
What when you make a decision, and mistakes are made, right? In that process, right? It's not to say, oh, and I'm making all the correct decisions all the time.
Right.
So as a baseline, everything that I do authentically in this work is always from the lens of being an African American Muslim, Black Muslim, African American Muslim. You know, everybody has their own way. I would say that more recently, I think I shared this story with you when I'm doing more of my work. When I'm doing more of my work in my public speaking areas, I am infusing a lot of, let's say, Islamic ideals, but as I've learned from, my dad, when we talk about Imam Wardi Muhammad, like, make sure that you give them their medicine. Like, you can't give them the whole dose. You got to give
Right.
which is the condition, conception.
Right. Right.
So in that, I infuse a lot of just Islamic ideals, right, and behaviors and belief systems in the conversations that I have with with my larger community, and so much so that I think I shared with you at the end of one of my keynotes, a man came up to me. He said, "Are you a believer?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely, I'm a believer." I knew you was a believer. I knew it, because everything you was saying just told me that you was a believer. Now you know what believer he talking about.
Right.
Christ.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I guess I am.
Right.
I am. So all this is
right.
All this is to say that, I think in this next journey of mine, one sec, this is my phone. There it goes, Dad.
There it is.
There it is. There it is. All right. Finish that, and then I'll start.
I am excited. Let me say, as I continue to work on myself, and we will always have a lot of work to do. Yeah. I'm digging in a different way right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of things are coming up for me that I'm like, ooh, you need to look at that, or you need to deal with that, or you need to figure out how to deal with that, or you ain't ready to deal with that because your ego is still letting you do whatever it is you're doing. I know that as I continue to dig in those areas, when I'm blessed with the opportunity to be in front of large groups of people, non-Muslims, very likely, when I'm blessed to be in front of large, I will have the opportunity to infuse my Islamic beliefs into their belief system as they navigate working with children and families.
Yeah.
And as they infuse that into their work with children and families, that child, that family that has access to that experience will now duplicate and replicate those ideals.
I love that.
So that's what I'm seeking to do. Because if we're throwing out facts that I've kept in mind, that I've heard when I don't know if I've heard it from Dad or Sister Salihah, because Sister Salihah is just all in my spirit right now. They said, whatever you teach a person, every time they use that skill is a blessing for you.
I mean, so
I'm like,
he sent them out. Yes.
What can I say to you right now, friend? What can I say that's going to make you use? The goal is, I want to say something to you that you will use.
Yeah.
I don't want to say something to you that you're not going to use. So
Yeah.
I'm going to try to tailor this whole experience to where it gets into your soul, your depth, your thinking. And my goal always with my students now is embodiment. I tell my students, I was like, look, you can get up out of this thing with an A or F. I don't care. This is the speech that I give. You can leave this class with an A or F. I don't care. But what you do need to leave out here, you need to leave out here with a different mindset, and you need to leave out here as a different person. The grade you get is not a reflect. I don't care about your grade. The grade is something that we have designed to identify completion. What my goal is as your professor is to change you on the inside to where now you are a different person with children and families moving forward. So I got you, Daddy. I see this picture and I'm gonna respond. I gotta give me 10 seconds and then I'm gonna give
go right ahead. It's like the only thing I can see is the picture, so I don't know what you all are. Are you still seeing yourselves?
Yes.
Yeah, we're in the sidebar.
Yeah.
Good. So I haven't got that far on being able to stay on one. Let's go with what we got. Let's go with what we got. Go ahead.
1 second. Okay, so I'll start while I'm still. Sorry, give me 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it should be working. All right, so let's start with, I moved out of Oakland. Me and my husband moved out of Oakland a while. We bought our first home in El Sabranti, let's say, I don't even know, 8-ish years ago. And then we moved from there to where we are now, which is the Fairfield-Vacaville area. So this picture is with my husband of 19 years, regardless of the facts. Peter's back out here. I know he's online somewhere. So this has me and my husband, and we're at a football game. Actually, this was near the time when we just moved out there. And that's Sister Carla Ali in the back. She lives in Vacaville, has always lived in Fairfield, Vacaville. I can probably fill the rest of the show up with, or beyond, with stories of her and her children when I would go spend the night at their house. One of the only houses I've ever been able to spend the night at, period. So she's been in Vacaville forever. So we moved out here to Vacaville. She's obviously hasn't, been working with Claire Muhammad for many years. And we saw her in the stands. And so we had to take this picture because it was like taking a celebrity photo, right? This is very much so like, I need to capture this moment, with her. And she, of course, and in the back, wait a minute. Check in the back though. I can't remember her. Momar and Janan's father, Felicity's father.
Mm-hmm.
In the back, that's who it is in the back.
That's in the back. Yeah.
What's his name? Why am I slipping that right now?
Listen, I know.
But all this is there have always been a really tight knit football family. You see, right? So they were at this football game. Dad, I got a message. Check your text.
I got it. I got it. Yeah. I hit him back.
That's for y'all. We are in a boutique. So I'm talking to my husband. So that's what this picture is. It's I think what is important to capture about the nature of it is Carla is a celebrity. That you're like, hold on, let me make sure we get this. And we sent it obviously to everybody who matters. That particular photograph. So yeah, that is what that is. That is what that is.
Okay.
And what's powerful about it, Dad, or in general, is that I know I'm looking down. Is that you got a lot of them, huh?
This is one of my favorites. I'm gonna
tell you why. The reason why it's powerful as celebrity wise, you don't even as an educator, you become a celebrity in people's lives. people remember you. Oh, that's my teacher. That was you know what I mean? As an adult.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there is that feeling that you have when you run into people who've had that been a part of significant emotional events in education life. So that was definitely one of those. Okay. So this is my Peter's Pack crew here. Issy's the oldest. Kayla is my baby girl, and Jacob is all the way to I don't know. I don't like to call it that, but my younger boy. And so, first of all, my husband is probably seeing this. We have these photography moments. We probably have taken this picture, meaning the three of them kind of stacked like this. We have a bunch of them, or not like this ridiculous amount, but more so like you can create a really smooth timeline, right, of where they are. The most recent one, we just took the most recent one, and it's this exact stack. We probably do this stack exactly this way every time. But what's so powerful about this concept, and this is a whole, we talk about the business of education, and my family, as I'm developing, the Peter's Pack, my husband and my 3 children, that is some of the hardest work this stuff over here is easy work compared, but being a part of a family unit and committing to the needs of your partner, the needs of your children, and on their different development. Me and my husband always talk about this range we've got them in. They're all about 4.5 years apart. And I think that is similar to how our siblings panned out. I think that's genetics in a way in terms of my biochemistry. So all of our kids are about 4.5 years apart. They're all in these each of them are always in this big developmental process, often in opposition of each other, right? So you have 3 kids, 3 different developmental ranges. Often what the developmental range that one is in opposition of the one, of the other. So example, Kayla is very like, I'm trying to establish my independence. I can roll with the best of them, right? And Jacob is kind of like, chill, I'm here, right? Like like they're all like in, and then you have the oldest who's like struggling, or I wouldn't say struggling, but navigating being a teenager and their role against how he shows up for his siblings per se. So yeah, I'm very proud of this photo. I'm very proud of Daddy, you did that on purpose.
I did, and I did this on purpose too.
I'm very proud of what we're building, what my husband and I are building together. Okay, so this pandemic, I didn't graduate on time, big air quotes, with my cohort. I graduated maybe like 4 to 5 months later. And part of that was because of the pandemic and Allah's grace. Both are true. I needed that extra time. I didn't necessarily need the pandemic, but I needed the extra time. And so my best picture is my husband's best friend and my best friend at this surprise party that my husband threw in our backyard after I did my dissertation defense virtually in our home. And so then we did a gown ceremony at the house, and those are also our sorority sister, my sorority sister and my husband's fraternity brother, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and they're also just our childhood friends. My husband has known Frederick Roots. He is I'm going to say it wrong, Western Province Pole Mark. Thank you, honey. Send me that text message giving me that confirmation. Send me my flowers for getting that one right. And then my Denisha is my sorority sister. We came into the organization literally together, and we live 3 blocks away from each other because she lives in the development that I live in. She's also a doctorate, and she runs her own organization. I want it.
Village is possible.
Here it is. Come on with it. I was like, hold up. You know how somebody is your best friend and you're like, well, I don't know what you do. I just my best friend. But yes, Village is Possible, where she supports trafficked youth in the Bay Area. She has a background in social work. And like I said, we went to our doctorate program together. And so, yeah, that's my husband has always been, he's always been a really big cheerleader. And so he found a way to bring the most important people together, because I didn't want to do nothing. I mean, I didn't really have a, like, I was like, I just need to get this degree. I just want to do this presentation and I want to be done. Right. And so when you talk about having your biggest cheerleader, my husband has always shown up in that way for me. So that was all his doing there for that event.
And this picture was right next to it. I know Carl, his family, which maybe is to state the obvious, is very important in his life, and this picture had that in there too.
And then another really big thing, yes, his sister, that's his sister, and our nieces, Riley and Ryan, and then that's Jacob when he was. They're all kind of really close. What's so interesting about genes, we talk about genetics. So his sister has two children, one Riley and Ryan, and then there's Issy and Jacob. But they're mirrors. They have like Riley's personality is very similar to Izzy's personality, demeanor, personality, etc. Ryan's personality, which is the smaller one, and Jacob have very similar like personalities. It's like they're different. It's very interesting when you see like family dynamics, but they have a lot of shared personality traits. And so yeah, so that, and then you see Kayla. So that's how small she was. She had to be 7, 8, maybe 9 months at the most. I don't know. That must be Izzy holding her. I'm pretty sure that's Izzy holding her. Yeah. And let me tell you all, trying to finish a dissertation with an infant, I have some pictures that I could just send you some of the pictures of the, you talk about seeing the, there was some tough moments. There was some tough moments, but you when you want something, you make sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I think I wanted my doctorate degree, and hence why I really something I learned from Dr. Sharif too. When I met Dr. Sharif, I don't know if she said it to me or I heard her say it to somebody else, but she said, "Don't call me nothing but Dr. Sharif." She made it plain. You couldn't call her that's what people say, Professor Intisar or something like that. She would say, "Call me Dr. Sharif. Don't call me anything other than Dr. Sharif." And of course you can say, initially when I heard it, I was like, ew, no, right? Okay, ouch, right? But I understand, hence why now I've taken on certain characteristics of my mentors. Hence my branding as Dr. Peters also comes from this place of you work for it, you make sacrifices for it, it's a blessing that you receive to be able to have this level of achievement.
Yeah.
And as African Americans, let me speak for myself, because this is a real thing that as the imam's daughter that I've had to navigate over the years. Sometimes being the imam's daughter was hard, because it's like you got this flashlight in your face. No matter what, you go somewhere. Oh, that's the imam's daughter. Oh, which daughter are you? You the oldest one? Or you the youngest one? It's always, what I mean? There's always something, right? And so what I did, and that I'm still working through in navigating that, was I wanted to hide myself more. It became, I don't like this type of attention. It's too much. It's like, so one of the things that I'm finding myself striving to be more comfortable and seeing it differently. So before, I would see it as, oh, you're being humble if you're if you if
Right.
you
Girl.
you
It's a whole
pull
nother conversation, Lord.
if you pull yourself back, you're
Mhm.
being humble, and being humble is the way that you should behave.
Right.
That's the way that you should be.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm entering a space of, wait a minute, Allah didn't give me this. Why would He give me something to not share?
Right.
He gave it to me to share that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working on understanding that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on not being not feeling like I need to,
Right.
cover myself. And that also just has to do with that. So modesty, if we think about modesty, like the covering of modesty, really, you can be modest in your expression of the gifts that God has given you, as long as you are really keeping in mind that it's not your gift. You are the vessel which Allah has granted this tool to come through. So the modesty is in recognizing that you are just the vessel. You didn't create this thing. This wasn't a thing. I don't think that Dr. Peters is a manifestation of herself. I believe that I am a manifestation of Allah's vision for who, inshallah, I will continue to grow and be. That's my modesty. That's where I'm. Versus, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna speak out in front of everybody else, or no, don't call me Dr. Peters, or it's okay. You can just call me Hanifa. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working on it. This is a process. It's a journey that I'll continue to be on. Hey,
There she go.
Daddy, where'd you find it?
Your husband sent it to me.
Of course he did.
Yeah. He got your back. He got your back.
I appreciate that, babe. Thank you. Yes, that, because we have it on one of our family photo things. So but yeah, and you know what? I would want to say that you talk about embodiment. I think this is a good embodiment of like who I strive to continue to be. It's that focus, it's that precision in what I want to do. But then there's also this little girl, right? There's this little girl who's still trying her best. She's trying her best. And so she still needs this photo, right? Being chosen as this model for excellence, right? That she didn't know she was chosen. Does that make sense? So
come on, talk to me.
Yeah.
We here. I got you.
So there's so many things that this photo means that it
Right.
does mean to me. We talked about modesty, that's there. We talk about precision, that's there. We talk about pride in you got the Claire Muhammad School patch, the uniform. Like I'm in uniform. I'm in uniform when I'm in uniform as a member of the Master Worthing community, when I'm in these public spaces. I'm in uniform as the wife of the Peters Pack. I'm in uniform when I'm the director of all of these, facilities, and what I mean. I'm always in uniform, and and part of that uniform is being a Muslim woman, right? Like that is a part of it, and so it's a beautiful thing. I feel blessed. I feel I feel like this is the beginning of a new chapter. That's we took to think about the picture of my 3 children. I keep navigating that this is my first year where every year I've had a child with me at work, right? When Jacob graduated kindergarten, Kayla was coming in, right? So I've had Kayla for 5 years. I had Jacob for 5 years. I had Issy for 5 years. So this is actually my first year spreading my wings in a different way, with the support of, my kids are in school, like, school all day. And so I'm excited about this chapter.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So we're gonna wind up now.
Yeah.
It is just so sweet. I feel just so professional. I feel like I'm really doing this thing on prime time. I mean, really. So, there's a dua, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. There's a dua that I used to make it more regular. At some point in time, I, I stopped making it as regular, but very early on, obviously having been the imam since '82, it became even more significant. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إمام. Oh Allah, give us mates and offspring that will be beautiful in our eyes, and give us the grace to be examples for righteous people. That was a perpetual, perpetual, perpetual. And this is 2/3 from the offspring side. Well, actually, half, because one daughter, of course, passed away in Nalila and Naile Rajun, and of course the son is not here on this set. So you have two of the four overall, and of course we had a son who passed very early, a year or two before. I mean, he was that age, and alhamdulillah, with a promised place in paradise. And there's another story to be told. But the point is, Allah fulfilled that dua for me. And it's moments like that like this, that you just get reminded again. It's like, you remember it? You got that. And this is no boast, but it's like you're saying, Hanifa, it's like, come on now. Are we working with God? Is God working with us or not? So when God's stuff show up, what you supposed to do? Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody God gave you that. They're gonna get mad, or they're gonna get off of that. Let's go. But look, you keep working on it. I had to work on. I can remember talking to my Imam Qasim, rahimahullah, stone to the bone. If we hadn't met earlier, he would have been like me and you and Tanisha and Carl and Fred, right? Because that was my guy. It's like, we battle in the trenches, then the whole thing. But there was a point in time where I had to tell him that, no, man, you can humble yourself out of usefulness, right? It's just like, okay, that's a little too humble. Come on, man, come on with it, And so again, we all have to tell ourselves that that's a part of the challenge of the demographic, literally, that we're in. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you shine too much, there's always somebody trying to put a blanket over it or throw some water on your flame or whatever. I mean, so our successes are despite all of that. I'm not talking about us on the screen right now. I'm talking about successful people in our demographic. Anyway. So alhamdulillah, I'm not absolutely, because this is the soft closing part. I'm gonna leave the hard closing part to Hanif, to Camila. But obviously we're gonna have to do this again. And because topically, I mean, go pro. The idea is like, come on, literally, because we are doing stuff that, alhamdulillah, there's no boast. Like, look, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. And when we talk about this, now, if you're going to talk about something else, then okay, I'll step to the side. But on this thing right here, so the great success that you've had as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as a person, as a Muslim, as a family, it's like, it's very, very important. And the world needs models. The world needs models. The world needs to know, especially in our demographic. It's like, how do you work that out, right? Because sometimes you get stretched in such a way where it's like, do I really have to go all like that? Or is it, so another time we're gonna have to get back and go further into some of these other stories. Haji, I'm gonna turn it over to you to finish us up. However you want.
Alhamdulillah. Not much more to be said, except it's an honor to be on this side of the table, to ask the questions, to be in the interviewing space, and to hear the enlightenment come through in this level of conversation, and for you to be in this space to share and hold space with us. And now that we know you're doing some more public speaking, like you said, we're going to find more opportunities to really dive deep into that conversation. But thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to be here and be so generous with your stories, with yourself, with your vulnerability, and taking that time for today. So I'm so very proud of you.
Thank you.
I love you immensely. You know, you do. You motivate. Like even being your oldest sister, to observe and watch you do. It's a motivation, even for myself, in doing so, and watching you. That, you know, from being in the space of being the caregiver to being in the space where, you know, I have the opportunity to sit and learn and listen from you. I've had the honor of knowing you all of your life, right? Whereas you've only known me for 40 plus, right? Years, but I've known you all of your life, right? And so to bear witness to the growth and the evolution, and to inshallah be a part of the continued growth and evolution, is truly an honor. And so I thank you and I love you in this moment for being here with us on this day.
All right.
Love
Love you, sweetie.
Love
you.
you.
It's gonna be it.
Thank you to everyone who's on watching.
Shout out KP for the backup. Appreciate
Yes.
it.
Shout out, big shout out.
All right.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.